Look, let me describe a moment that happens more often than people admit. It's late at night, you're scrolling. Maybe you type something like average retirement savings or how much money does the average person have? And for a split second, your stomach tightens because you're either thinking, I'm behind. I should be doing better by now, or worse, am I failing financially even though I'm doing everything I was told? Here's the thing. Most people don't feel anxious about money because they're reckless. They feel anxious because they don't have context. They're comparing themselves to numbers they don't understand, and then judging their entire future based on that misunderstanding. So today, we're going to slow this down. We're going to look at real financial statistics of the average person, income, savings, debt, spending, retirement, and we're going to interpret them correctly, not emotionally, not competitively, but wisely. Because statistics don't exist to shame you. They exist to orient you. And if you understand what these numbers actually mean, you may realize something surprising. In many areas, you're doing better than you think. My name is David, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, wealth, and how stewardship actually compounds over time. If you're someone who is working hard, trying to be responsible, honoring God with your intentions, and still wondering if you're actually on track, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Now, here's the thing. Knowing the financial averages is not about comparison. It's about calibration. So let's recalibrate. Early assumption challenge. Most people assume if I'm not dramatically ahead of the average person, I must be doing something wrong. That assumption sounds logical. It's also dangerous. Because money doesn't respond to emotion, it responds to structure. And Scripture is very clear about this principle. To whom much is given, much is required. Stewardship comes before multiplication. So let's start with the facts, and then talk about what they actually mean. Let's start with income. When you go to work, do you feel like you earn less than average, about average, or more than average? According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median income for a full-time U.S. worker is about $1,041 per week, which comes out to roughly $52,000 per year before taxes. That's about $26 per hour. Now pause, that number is median, not average, meaning half of workers earn less than that. And this is individual income, not household income. Here's what most people don't realize. Most of the financial stress people feel is not because they're dramatically underpaid. It's because income alone does not create security. Income feels like progress, but it's not the engine. Structure is. Now let's talk about retirement. According to the Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances, the median retirement savings for all U.S. adults who even have a retirement account is around $65,000. And here's the part people miss. About 25% of Americans have no retirement account at all. So that $65,000 is already excluding a massive portion of the population. Now let's do some math. If someone retired with $65,000 and followed a conservative 4% withdrawal rule, that would produce $2,600 per year. That's about $216 per month. That's not retirement. That's grocery money. And when you break it down by age, it gets even more sobering. Under 25, approximately $1,800. Ages 25 to 34, approximately $14,000. Ages 65 and up, approximately $88,000. These numbers are low, not because people are stupid, but because most people never get past the early discipline phase, and psychologically, humans struggle deeply with delayed reward. This is where many faithful people get tripped up. They're patient, but not structured, and patience without structure becomes passivity. Let's talk about Social Security. According to the Social Security Administration, the average monthly benefit is around $1,550 per month. That's about $18,600 per year. Many Americans rely on this as their primary retirement income. Here's the problem. That amount barely covers housing in many areas, barely covers healthcare, and leaves little room for dignity, generosity, or margin. And that's the average. If you earned less during your working years, you'll receive less. Here's what wise stewards do differently. They don't count on Social Security. They factor it in as a bonus. Because hope is not a strategy. Structure is. Now let's talk about spending. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average U.S. household spends about $5,577 per month, or roughly $67,000 per year. That means a household needs to take home at least that much just to break even. Here's the breakdown. Housing, approximately $1,885 per month, 34%. Transportation, approximately $913 per month. Food, approximately $691 per month. Now look at that number again, $67,000 per year, just to exist. This is why income raises don't fix financial anxiety, because spending expands to meet perception, not need. This is where psychology takes over. When money increases, identity tries to upgrade. But stewardship says, not yet. Now credit scores range from 300 to 850. According to Experian, the average FICO score in the U.S. is about 715. That's higher than most people expect. And here's why this matters. A good credit score lowers mortgage rates, reduces interest paid, increases optionality, and maintaining it is surprisingly simple. Pay bills on time, keep balances low, avoid unnecessary new debt. Payment history is the largest factor. Faithfulness over time. Sound familiar? Now let's talk about debt. According to Wallet Hub, the average household carries about $9,260 in credit card debt. This is the worst kind of debt because interest rates often exceed 20%. It outpaces realistic investment returns. It cancels compounding. If you're investing while carrying high-interest credit card debt, you're running uphill with weights on your ankles. Credit cards don't just charge interest, they train impulse. And impulse is the enemy of stewardship. Net worth, the big picture. Net worth is simply what you own, what you owe. That's it. According to the Federal Reserve, the median U.S. household net worth is around $122,000, broken down by age. Under 35, less than $14,000, 35 to 44, approximately $91,000, 45 to 54, approximately $168,000, 55 to 64, approximately $212,000, 65 to 74, approximately $266,000. These numbers are far lower than people assume, which means something important. Most people are not failing. They're just early or undisciplined. And those are very different problems. The average U.S. savings rate is about 6% of income after taxes. That money is often split between emergency savings, home down payments, cars renovations, unexpected expenses, which leaves very little for retirement. Experts recommend 10 to 15% minimum for retirement alone. This is why wealth feels slow early, because it is. According to Ramsey Solutions, the average retirement age is 61. But full Social Security benefits don't arrive until 67, and someone who reaches age 65 can expect to live another 19 to 21 years. Here's the uncomfortable question. Do you want freedom eventually, or while you still have health? Because time is the one asset you cannot compound later. Here's the quiet truth behind all these numbers. Statistics don't tell you who you are. They tell you where most people stop. And faithful stewards don't stop early. They don't panic, they don't compare, they don't rush. They build quietly, they structure patiently, they trust compounding. And over time, the numbers catch up to the discipline. If this helped you see your finances with clarity instead of fear, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what surprised you most. This is how wealth is actually built, and it works.